All right, it's time to talk about one of my all-time favorite regions across the state, and that is down in the 210. Go Spurs, go! It is time to bring on another girl who I'm sure would say "Go Spurs, go!" and it is KSAT sports anchor and reporter Miss Mary Rominger. Mary, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Thank you so much for hopping on with us. We love to bring on female reporters across the state and give them just a minute here to talk about yourself. How'd you get here, and how are you liking San Antonio?
I'm loving San Antonio first and foremost. I'm from Southern California. I went to Iowa State for college, so very familiar with the Big 12 and in Texas football. I know it's definitely changed a lot over the last year as far as the college football landscape goes. But after college, I went to Minnesota, my first sports TV job out of college, and that's where I that's what brought me to San Antonio, and it's been awesome so far.
Well, I am jealous. I would go down there in a heartbeat if I
I know you
could.
would. Yeah.
So obviously there's a bunch of big school ball, and there's the notorious people that we talk about, whether that be Cibolo Steel, San Antonio, Brennan, even Alamo Heights, if you want to throw them in there. Out of those ranked teams that we currently have out of the big school realm, which one would you say, if you had to put down right now, could make the longest run?
Well, I've been in San Antonio now for one full year, so this is my second season covering high school football. It's been fun, and it sounds, I'm sure you guys are very well versed in the scene around, the whole state, but especially this area. And already I kind of understand the historic outcome that happens in the postseason with teams like Steel, Alamo Heights, facing those tougher programs out of the bigger regions in Texas. But right now, I don't know if I'm supposed to pick who I believe of the few that you just mentioned, but who I think could really make a deep run this postseason is actually Piper. They're 5-0 right now, leading District 13 5AD2. We have them ranked second in the city in our 12's top 12 rankings, behind Steel, of course, who, Steel is always going to be a competitive team. They produce, the NFL talent, but they're led by Caden Keith. They upset district rival Smithson Valley last week. Now the Rangers have two losses because of that, and Piper has just been that team to put up a lot of
Mm-hmm.
points, grind out wins, but they have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Another one, I don't know if you guys talk Taps, D1 Taps, or if they're who we're talking about, but Holy Cross has
Mm-hmm.
been so impressive this year. They're 6-0. They beat the Taps D1 semifinalists last year, Antonian this year. They beat Central Catholic in the Holy Bowl. Both of those teams they lost to last year. So those teams for me have been who I'm putting stock in right now at this point in the season.
Cibolo still definitely a very, very strong team down there, but it's been since 2013 since an Austin area team has lost to or I guess a San Antonio team has beaten an Austin area team. And we thought it was
Yes.
going to be this
Hmm.
year with that Austin Westlake and Cibolo Steel
Mm-hmm.
matchup. Austin Westlake, of course, winning that one 41-16. What factors do you think are going to have to go in and change to finally have a San Antonio team take down an Austin powerhouse?
Oh man, I mean, I think they're making strides right now and toughening up their regular season schedules. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you see it all the time. We just saw it with Texas State beating UTSA. Like Texas State, their recruiting, their entire preparation for their season was with keeping in mind they want to beat UTSA. That was their whole purpose, and you're just kind of seeing that mindset shift for programs like Steel, just continuing to toughen up that regular season schedule, playing the Austin schools during the regular season. I know we've seen it before, but all you can do is just prepare yourself with the toughest competition. So that way, when it comes postseason time, they're not shocked by
Mm-hmm.
those powerhouses.
And obviously, we get bogged down talking so much about those bigger schools, but there are a lot of very talented smaller school programs in the greater San Antonio area, more on the outskirts, but still kind
Mm-hmm.
of around y'all's region. Any of those that you want to tell people, like, hey, really keep your pulse on this. This is a team that you need to be paying attention to.
I mean, that's totally a great way that you put it. Davenport, Somerset, Livonia are three that have had really strong starts to the season. And what we were just talking about, they have scheduled tough teams in their regular season schedule. So Davenport's 5-1. They're one loss to Piper, who I just mentioned. Somerset's 5-0. Livonia's 4-1. And Davenport, a newer school, they've had success across really all of their sports so far. I think last year was the first time they had their first senior class graduate. The class that has been there all 4 years. So a newer school, but they're producing some really great quality, teams and players.
Well, and you kind of just mentioned our next topic, and Davenport you talk about their success comes a lot from that running back, Barrett Fallon. What are some of those other key players down there in the San Antonio area that you think maybe are flying under the radar or people should really start paying attention to?
Ooh, okay, so we know already, right? Like the Jalen Cooper, Chad Warner of Steel, Jalen Cooper, SMU commit, Michael Terry III, all-around player for Alamo Heights. In this area, the player I'm about to mention doesn't fly under the radar, but I'm not totally sure what his status is across the state. Hudson Hendricks, he's a two-way player for Bernie. And, the Hendricks family has deep ties within that program and in Bernie, his dad's coach, his brother's on the team, a long list of Hendricks that have come through that program. And it's a successful program. I don't believe he's committed anywhere at the moment. But he's one for sure that I think is always fun, at least when I have the opportunity to watch him.
All right, it is time for the hardest hitting question. And we always say that, but like this time I genuinely mean that. When we're coming down to San Antonio, which I will take any chance that I can to get down there, but where would you suggest that we eat when we head down to San Antonio?
I love your love for San Antonio. That's awesome.
I love it.
So in my free time, my rare free time outside of work, my hobby is to discover new food places, and I've tried a lot. There's a lot of really great food here. I still need to make my way down the barbecue list of some must-try spots that I haven't been able to make it out to yet. But my favorite, it's in the Stone Oak area. That's where I live. It's called Pan and Coffee, and it's the best brunch lunch place. Ooh. They have a beautiful blend of like Mexican influence, but with a French cafe menu.
I'm down.
Just so good. It's
Holy
a must try.
Cow, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, I'm down.
That sounds incredible. If you need and you've probably heard of this one, but I can confirm that Pinkerton's is fantastic if you need a barbecue spot.
Okay. Yes, Pinkerton's
It's on my list.
Okay, good. Well, get there and let us know how much you like it. She is Mary Rominger. She's a sports anchor and reporter for KSAT 12 down there. Mary, thank you so much for hopping on. Tell my girl Daniela we said hi and enjoy covering the rest of the Texas high school football season.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
There she goes, Mary Rominger from KSAT News.